And good morning. A huge fire in Cheektowaga is forcing evacuations and has raised concerns about possible chemical contamination. News Center 2's Les Trent has been on the scene at the Harlem and Genesse Nursery fire all morning long. He joins us now with a live update. Les?
Ed, we have indeed been here all morning. Only now, though, in the daylight can you see just how destructive this fire was to the Harlem Genesse Nursery and also a bar known as Ray's Place right here on the corner of Genesse and Harlem. The fire started at about 3:59 this morning, and it was a general alarm blaze. Almost every firefighter here in the town of Cheektowaga out here. I spoke to the owner, one of the owners of Harlem Genesse Nurseries, and he said the biggest tragedy is that this is a family business. They've been here on the corner for 40 years. They have some 70 employees at their 3 Western New York places, including 40 right here. And this fire happened in the height of the busiest season for this business. The images of Christmas are silhouetted in the glow of this general alarm fire. The wares of the nursery trade present a dangerous situation for firefighters and residents.
From what I got, there's a lot of weed killer in there and a lot of plastic ornaments and plastic Christmas trees.
It is now 6:40 in the morning. This fire has been going strong for about 3 hours now, but firefighters have stopped putting water on it. They're afraid that some of the chemicals that may be inside may wash into the sewer system. The uncertainty over what chemicals were inside contributed to the decision to evacuate. It started with 5 nearby homes.
All right, you back up to me.
Because of heavy smoke conditions and the unknown, we didn't know what was in the building at the time, so as a precaution. Also, fire was very close to their homes.
I would have been out at 7.
Chris Drizzle was working the night shift at the mobile gas station across the street. He's the one who called the fire department.
When the flames first came up from the back of the greenhouse, they were coming up about 20 feet in the air. After they came along to the sides of the building, they weren't really up very high. By then, the fire department was here and was keeping it down.
Were you concerned at all about the fact that you're working at a gas station right across the street?
As soon as I saw the flames, I shut all the pumps down, and then I called the fire department real fast.
As many as 500 or 600 people evacuated in this general area. Queen of Martyrs School closed today. The big concern, of course, those pesticides inside the building that burned this morning. Ed?
Have they determined what type of chemicals are involved exactly?
Well, earlier this morning, town officials told us one of the main reasons they wanted to evacuate a 1-mile square area was because of these 2 insecticides, malathion and isotox. But I just spoke to someone from the Department of Environmental Conservation, and he says there are too many chemicals in there to even put a finger on it.
Okay, thank you, Les Trent. Officials began evacuating the families in the immediate area around 5 o'clock this morning. Then the possible threat of toxic fumes spawned the evacuation of the 1-mile area you see here. That area runs from Genesse Street on the north, the Thruway on the east, almost to George Urban Boulevard on the south, and Harlem Road on the west side. Town's ambulance also pitching in today. They were on Midland Drive this morning, helping with the evacuations of the elderly and the infirmed. Most of the evacuees are now at Cheektowaga Town Park, and that's where News Center 2's Tony Farina joins us live. Tony?
Well, Ed, that's true. Many of the evacuees were taken here to Cheektowaga Town Park. Some of them, those on Melcourt and Westland, have been allowed to return to their homes. Many others are still here awaiting the word to go back. And we have with us Lucy Misiak from the Greater Buffalo Red Cross. Lucy, what time did you get alerted this morning to the possible evacuation?
I was alerted close to 5 o'clock this morning and told to come down that there may be an evacuation. At that point, we came down, checked in the command post, found out we needed to open a shelter, opened our first shelter at Pine Hill Volunteer Fire Company. We had about 20 people over there. Nobody was injured, no medical problems. And then about 9 o'clock, they decided that because of the heavy smoke, they were going to expand the evacuated area. So we opened up the second shelter here at the town park in the rec center. We've got about 70 people here.
Now, essentially, what kind of services did you provide to those who were evacuated this morning?
Primarily, it's a place to stay and be warm and out of the cold, and we've got some coffee and food and sandwiches, donuts, and we'll continue that for a while until they can be told to go home.
Well, we understand that there was no one injured during the evacuation, or...
None of the evacuees were injured. There might have been some injuries to the firemen, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay, Lucy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, Ed, that's the story here. Some people have been allowed to go home, as I mentioned, but many others are still awaiting word and anxious to return to their homes. Ed?
Tony, I understand this was the second major fire to hit that nursery.
Well, we understand there was a fire there not too many years ago. I'm not exactly sure what the date is yet. We're going to be checking on that, of course, later today. We also understand that the owner may have been charged with arson in that previous fire, but we'll have to check that.
Okay, thank you, Tony Farina. Some phone service has been disrupted in the Cheektowaga area, including the phones at St. Joseph's Hospital. In case of emergency, you can reach the hospital at this number. It's 863-5769. A fiery crash this morning in Fredonia where a school bus filled with children collided with a tanker truck carrying a load of fuel. Fortunately, no reports of any serious injuries. News Center 2 Scott Brown is on the scene.